own podcast. Well, I listen to Danganronpa Cholesterol Summer Edition. So there's a few different variants of this track, mainly, but I think this is probably my favourite of a lot. And there's quite a few interesting things. It starts off kind of, like electronic-y. And it gets really interesting a bit after, which is obviously more electronic, but it's like, I don't know what that instrument is. It sounds stringy, almost. It just adds such a cool element to it. It almost sounds chromatic as well. That's a weird thing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's microtonal. It's so interesting, and then you got the intensity of the percussion as well, and also this electronic bass going places. And it has an octave as well. It has a left and right channel, I just noticed. Listen to it now. Kind of crazy. There's like two of them, I guess. And then the octave, which is a third. It's such a well done track, and also the soundtrack in general is just amazing. It's always impressed me. It always invokes the right sort of feeling during obviously the most relevant part, and this is obviously the class trials which happen in the game. Yeah, Danganronpa was pretty goated, I think. They have these sort of sections in between that sort of break it apart a bit. It's like a bridge, I guess, rather than a breakdown. You get a breakdown later though. There's an interesting like glitchy percussion bit before that, entering back into the main riff. Yeah, that's just absolutely fascinating as a track. I have constant admiration for the composer of this. So I literally don't know what it would take to make such a good soundtrack. Yeah, that's a breakdown. Holy crap. There's also some voices in that, I think, as well. Yeah. And there's a sort of quality bit. Yeah, that's the track. So I'll move on to the first topic then. To be honest, I don't even know how this is even a topic, but at the same time, it doesn't surprise me. I was kind of half expecting something like this to happen a long time ago. But yeah, even though it's been happening for a few months now, I do know that it's probably due to happen, and it has. And that is basically the US giving, basically, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like the White House posting really fucking edgy memes with just the recent events about anything really. Like, it really depends. Like, it really encapsulates the entire thing that they're doing there, which is basically publicity and psychological warfare. On one hand, it's giving them publicity to get attention, and it does, unfortunately, which is why I fucking lose faith in humanity, which is also part of the psychological warfare. And then the other psychological warfare is basically ruining people's memories of these beloved franchises with specifically Nintendo and also AI garbage to get people even more depressed. So essentially it leads into it's essentially perfect psychological warfare. Well, there's no other description for it. I could be wrong in that, but to me that seems to be what is going on here. And it sucks that it's happening. I genuinely don't understand why this has been allowed to happen. Because it is confusing how most of America have just sat silently or protested at the very least, and yet haven't done anything more. And yeah, this has been allowed to happen. It's just crazy. Yeah. So it's been a real struggle, obviously mentally, realizing a lot of this stuff using like the Pokemon theme to show others catching ice, for example, is one of the ones I've seen, and there's also been the what is it? The recent one, which is like using the Pokepia font to say something about America, like make America great again. And there is another one about using the Wii Sports gameplay to show attacks on Iran. Yeah, this is extremely fucked, and that's why they do it. It's to get attention. To be honest, at a certain point they're just going to start showing child porn. I'm not even fucking joking about that, because they want to normalise this shit. They want to show that they're in control and they could do whatever the fuck they want. And as I've said, people have allowed them to do this. There's absolutely nobody for some reason in these powerful positions actually doing the right thing. And that really proves, again, the corruption level that we're at. You know, it's the public versus the, whatever it is, the 1%, the billionaires, the politicians. It really depends. But it is very much a case of that, and I don't think non-violence is actually going to get us anywhere at this point. Which is frightening to think about, because it's not the thing I wanted to be saying, but if as a theory, I don't see anything happening now, because they've done too much action, then people who've protested have done nothing. It's changed nobody's mind, and the people in power, the people who are corrupt or vulnerable, end up getting in that situation anyway. They join ICE, they do weird shit, do dodgy shit as a result of being in ICE as well. So it's kind of difficult in that sense. Yeah, literally at the topic in the last podcast I'm mentioning it now. Corruption needs action, not words. This is true. You literally cannot have a world where you can see peace without action. Which is what I'm saying, which is why I say this non-violent method, although it is good on the offset, is not good as a result. Because what we're seeing now is non-violence is being met with violence, and the longer this is allowed to go on for, the harder it will be. And that's why I encourage people to literally just do whatever the fuck you can to stop this. It sounds insanely dangerous, but that's the trade-off that's going to be worth it in the end. There's really no other fucking way. And the fact that the UK is heading towards this direction, it's even more concerning. And you have to remember that people have the power, and all it takes is just a bunch of people to take control of things. So, I don't know, say that you're organising a way to, I don't know, like basically stop the administration in its tracks. You do this by getting as many people as you can from different groups and put them all in one place, but you have the ownership obviously passed down to people depending on who gets compromised or corrupted. It really depends. But you have multiple people on it, which is why we don't have leadership anymore, because leadership is fucking useless. And it's just frustrating. I'm just trying to say quick. There we go. But that's what it takes. You need big organisation and big, essentially, populations. That's what it's going to take in the end. In this current world, I don't really know how sort of vulnerable people can be in that situation. Because again, I don't know what it's going to take, but at the end, something has to be done. And again, the non-violent method doesn't do anything. You know, I've seen many people say to even someone who's supposedly against Trump, like for example, that guy, I forgot what his name is, Senator Jason Newman, is it? Could be the wrong name, but someone, but he has a really fucking bad stance on trans rights, and even though people have literally questioned him on it, he still hasn't turned his mind on this. Like to him, it's like a game, essentially, and he's not even addressing it. He's essentially doubling down on what he's previously believed, and it's not helping anyone. In fact, it's fucking people over. And then he's going to lose votes because of this stupid fucking belief that he has that trans people for some reason don't deserve rights, and it's just, yeah, it's a clusterfuck. But Jesus fucking Christ. I don't understand why this is so difficult for some people though. As I said in the previous topic, if there was an authority that can literally overrun something like politics, like political parties or positions, in the, obviously, almost like the American, the constitution, that's it. I forgot the term there. But something like that, but for debating, and you could probably see a better world. And I just see it being better as a result. Because having the ability to get someone off their position, their authority for that matter, is going to be extremely good for not only democracy but also just peace and also truth finding. And that's what it takes in the end. If corrupt people are running that, they could be overthrown as well. Yeah, that's the point. But yeah, again, that's all the thing we need in the world, and at this point it wouldn't surprise me if someone literally started running a very unofficial political party where they can literally be run by multiple people, which is actually probably a better thing for most of the human population anyway, the human race for that. I can see that being very good for a lot of people, because in the end it's more heads and it will matter in the long run. It will make a better future for people, it will do so much. I just don't understand why people would want that. Yeah. Either way, it's a frustrating situation. Again, it's psychological warfare. It's best not to really give them what they want. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of idiots on YouTube are obviously corrupt at this point. Are giving the attention, so yeah, I don't even know what to do. Yeah, I've commented this multiple times. Actually, why don't I just block the fucking channel? I don't know. Made some good content, but also it's just the same thing every fucking day. And yeah, just more frustrating shit every day. A bit different to Most Critical, but in a way that it's just reports on just some of the worst and most fucking pointless news that you can ever get. And it's like a drama channel, technically speaking. It's not good. Yeah. Hence giving this thing attention, and it's better to just use it by word, to mention it by word, rather than telling people to look at it or even showing it to begin with, which in itself I think even requires a disclaimer. People think that always responding to things is a good thing, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it literally gives power to that position that you're against. It's just frustrating, as I said. Anyway, I'm not really sure what to add, but that's done everything. Yeah, so I'll move on to this topic. Try to find something fun, but not hopeful. Fuck's sake. Anyway, let's move on. I suppose another thing to add on to that, which itself isn't great, because, yeah, This just isn't a great topic, to be honest. It's quite frustrating. Actually, it's quite, maybe quite fucking depressed. So I'm gonna have to listen to music today and actually watch a live stream instead. Just, yeah, I can't fucking cope. But anyway, there's this other thing I wanted to mention, which for some reason is in my head. Great. God, I have to backtrack. What was it? Yeah, that's it. I got it. That's quick. Actually, I forget it completely. But this seems to be about just how people might think that siding with the enemy is going to do good for them and also the people around. But it doesn't. And you get completely fucked as a result. Because of the nature of these things. Because when you actually look at what these parties are serving, they are not serving the people. End of argument. There is nothing else to say. It is proven, it is evident. You can see it in places where it has happened. Russia, for example. That's probably one of the best examples for that matter. And it happens because seemingly they're greedy and they don't give a shit about people. That's why it's quite frustrating. Like, literally, just some of the most simplest shit to refute, and people will still side with them. Like, as if it's going to protect you, like it doesn't. That's the thing. And even people who obviously have went with Vice, yeah, the problem is you're not protecting anyone. It's not even stopping immigrants. Excuse me for a second. Fucking curtains are causing me OCD. That'll do. I think. Yeah. But literally, it's not serving anyone. It's not even protecting anyone, and that's why it's a big problem. It's just, it's incredibly frustrating. It's not a way to describe it. What do I even add? Do I explain how we know this and stuff? Because it overcomplicates things, and that's the problem. I think people find things too complicated and they just want someone who speaks on that level, or for some reason it's like a stupid bias thing. Which, yeah, it is a stupid bias when it is there. And that's the problem. And it's just not good for anyone. It just fucks over everyone in the end. So what else is there? Trying to think. It's not coming to mind. It's really one of those things. It's like pick your poison. I know that sometimes democratic leaders are not the best thing for the world, but at the same time, it's less bad than what we currently got. And that's what I really encourage you. Because that's all we can do. There's not very much else to it. Yeah. Anyway, should be a little tired. So, I'm tired. I didn't even do much. I should do next slide. Talk about that, I don't know. I don't know if there's a difference. I've talked about it before, actually. Yeah, either way, like, be careful who you vote for, because you end up with another Trump if you're not careful enough. So, yeah, that's your warning. And it's not a warning from me, just to be clear. There's a warning from them. Because literally, they're coming for you, and that's what they want to fucking do. It's part of their agenda. So, what else do you want me to say? Try to find good things about the bad people, but it's not going to make them good. Simple as that. End of story. I figured I'll react to this briefly, since it's come up and there's been the letter Final Fantasy 14 patch 7.5. And to be honest, I'm kind of excited for this based on what I know about it so far. I want to go through it properly now, with the list according to Square Enix press up. Not sure what this site is, never seen it before. Press up? I don't know what that is. Yeah, weird. Anyway, new main scenario quests. Does surprise me. New Alliance Raid Echoes of Vandaniel Part 3. Windurst the Third Walk. Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that because I do kind of like the Alliance raids here. They're not too bad. They're quite good. There's a learning curve to the second one for sure. A bit too much in my opinion because I see so many players die on that when they're new. It does need a bit of a tuning, I think. New dungeon, the Clitium? What? The Clitium. Maybe that's why they used the Y. Fuck's sake. Yeah, let's go to the Clitium. Excuse me? I thought we were doing a dungeon. No. I thought we were doing a sex act actually. The neutral, you know. You know who? No, Inuo, not you know. Damn, I might have dyslexia. Allied Society Kids of Capstone Quests? What? Wait, why are there society quests? Oh yeah, those. Okay, I know. I was a bit confused there. Beast, assuming these are like the Beast tribes, but they have the sort of inter-social quests. And I'm guessing this might be one. Maybe not. I don't know. Could be wrong. New Unreal trial. Quite happy to see a new trial at this point. There's a fucking Tsukuyomi's Pain. There's quite a few wipes every now and then. Or just deaths. There's like stupid things anyway. New Ultimate Raid, not fussed. More Hildebrand, which is good. New Occult Crescent update. This is probably one I've been most interested in. New zone with new monsters, group rounds, encounters increased, knowledge level, and multiple new phantom jobs. I'm not fussed about the phantom jobs, I don't really care. Hopefully you don't need a max one for it, because I think that'd be stupid. I've never really paid attention to it. I don't think it'd be too hard to do anyway though, would it? Does the challenge all contribute to phantom job XP? That's a question. I don't know. New limited job Beastmaster, oh shit. They're releasing that now? In 7.5? That's fucking crazy. What? I'm gonna try it out. I'm curious, but holy crap. I didn't expect that. And I need to make a fucking priority list, Jesus. Like, fuck, what am I doing? 7.5 plan, assuming there's no D-Rock in between. I don't think there would be. April, it'd be Easter, wouldn't it? So, that'll be before that, I think. Hopefully. Anyway, let's go for it. I want to do the raid first, I think. So it'll be third walk. Yeah, weird enough want to do that first. Unless the relic weapon comes first. But in which case I'll put that next. Relic whip. Third walk. And the MSQ I'll put there after that. That's a trial. And Dungeon will come with that, I think. Yeah, Unreal trial I need to do at some point, so maybe Unreal trial comes after the third walk. It shouldn't take long. There's a lot here. MSQ, Hildebrand. Let's just do Hildy. Beastmaster will be last for me, believe it or not, because I don't really think that I'm as fussed about a new limited job. I want to see what people say about it before I try it. And yeah, it's just be one of those things. It'd be a low priority thing. I will level it, but I don't know. I also wonder like what sort of role it takes, because we obviously had a Blue Mage, which was a caster, but Beastmaster, what would it be? given the offhand I've seen the screenshot, I'd say tank maybe. It's possible. Maybe. Well, there's no way they're doing an idea that I had, which is a tanking mob. Or whatever you summon, you know, a tanking whatever. Like, I don't know, basically in Modern Warcraft, your hunter pets would often aggro the whatever they're targeting. God, I remember so many dramas around that. That was a fucking good old time. And I also did it in like Mythic Plus and stuff when the tank was in trouble. I used to, even though I had it off by default, I used to just hit it just in case and also heal the tank whenever they needed healing if you had the mythical beast. And not a lot of people knew how to use that with enough, and I don't think even some mythic raiders knew. Just very bizarre, because it's there for a reason, but you're not utilising it. It's a bit strange. I could be wrong about that though. It could be a reason for it, but I'm not aware of. Anyway, that's next. Duty support, not fast. Ocean fishing update. This is interesting because I do sort of enjoy ocean fishing. I just don't have a reason to do it. There's a new route towards Fafnir, which is Endwalker, isn't it? So yeah, that seems pretty cool actually. Wonder where it's going to be on the map though. It'd be interesting to see the view from the outside, and also that's the point. Would you see the towers if you still had that part of the MSQ to do? Huh. That'd be interesting. Imagine just fishing, you see this fucking tower. We can't be bothered not dealing with Scions or Asians. Not dealing with Asians at the moment. The elephant gods, whatever they were, or goddesses. Fuck that. Cosmic exploration, new planet, don't give a shit. Again, the problem with cosmic exploration is it's just annoyed me. I tried to play it, lost a fate that was designed for a group, and yeah, it's just like, no. Fuck. Like, no, fuck off. This is really stupid. It's bad content, and, you know, even then, even with like the tons of awards that are in it, supposedly, I'm just not fussed. And the fact it takes place around customization as well is a bit stupid. Not customization, I mean crafters. And I just don't like the fact that it's just designed for crafters, or gatherers, rather, both. It's just boring. You know, I want something fucking combat oriented, not that shit. It's just crap. And also like the fact that the fate was like interactive rather than crafting. It's just extremely dumb. I don't know why they can't tune these things. Housing update. Increase limits for interior and exterior, which is interesting. So okay. Armor update. It's right, increase the numbers that can be stored. Nice. Die system update. Nice. PvP Series 11. We've adjustments to existing PvP actions and the addition of a new crystalline conflict. Kind of interested in the PvP. That'll be on my list of things to do, like passive. Put that underneath maybe. Passive Series 11. Yeah, that'll do. And miscellaneous updates, new custom deliveries. Okay. Phantom weapon updates, nice. That's what I look forward to most. And the golden saucer updates, not fussed. Speaking of which, custom delivery, that could come after that, I think, after Unreal Troll. So yeah, there are obviously some good updates here. I think it seems like it has a lot of potential this time around. I'm not sure if this is the one before the final patch or what. Like, how do patches work? FFXIV final patches number. Just wondering. Let's see, go all the way back to Endwalker, growing like 6.5. So this is the final patch then. Okay. That's interesting. I like that they have a bunch of patch notes as well. It's fucking amazing that they've listed this. Like, props to whoever did this. That is honestly really interesting. You got even the Railway Ball there. They removed every like 1.0 patch notes it seems, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, that is fascinating. Oh, Polylemo, is that his name? I can't remember. Fucking rest in peace. Yeah. Anyway, it's promising. Just to reiterate the patch priority, I'm going Relic Weapon first, so Impulse Crescent probably, third Walk, and then Armored Troll, and then Custom Delivery, and MSQ, then Hildebrand, and then Beastmaster, and then passively each day I'll do PvP for Series 11 stuff. They'll probably tease what is in that soon. I'm hope they bring back some of the older series because I do find this is an element of FOMO. I do find that frustrating, to be honest. The fact that there's still items in the game that are removed and they still haven't added them properly. It's one of my biggest gripes of it, actually, given all the gameplay issues I've encountered over the time that I've played in it now. So I'm hoping they address that at some point. I'd argue it's something bigger than some of the other things in the game, but I don't know. Either way, that's a thing. So yeah, let's move on. Not sure how I haven't really talked about this before. If for some reason I haven't. I feel like it's something important and interesting. So I was thinking about this a while ago and started thinking about it again given my issues with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and then also just like mental things as well. But how accessible can a game actually be towards these kind of aspects? Because obviously you have things like blindness support in some games and just customizability of it all, for that matter. And I think it can be good if it's done well. Like Last of Us, I remember being. I say remember, I've never played it, but apparently it's like best accessibility of any game that's ever existed. And it has everything. It has, like, as I said, blindness support, I'm very sure. You can play the game as if it was like wireframed or something like that. And yeah, the other things, I can't remember what. I think you can change the colour of everything, you can even remove textures, which is also supporting that, and it allows so much changing of the elements. And I wish games would actually follow suit with that. A lot more games do that, even though it might cost a bit more to make. It's probably more worth it, but then you have to ask the important question of, well, how far do we go? And I don't know if I have an answer to this or not, but there is a case for it in terms of questioning where games come from, whether, I guess, online games or just being able to mod games that are live services. And I think there's something important to bring up there in the fact that there are limitations, but at the same time, do they have to be enforced? Is my question. Because I think there's a point to be made there. When I was playing through Eureka recently in Final Fantasy 14, I've got 3 weapons to stage 4, and got 4 to stage 1, technically speaking. But I ended up finding myself just getting frustrated at various aspects of it, and it didn't help my mental health in the slightest. I was panicking about being able to get the crystals I need today. I managed to get the stage 4 weapon done in 3 days somehow, with even a raid in between, which is interesting. I got this in Hostel. I say 3 days, maybe 4 days. 3, 4. New meme. Actually, no, don't do that. But it's weird, but the frustrating thing is the amount of problems I have. It gets really taxing on my mind and just various aspects of my life. And I want to be doing my hobbies instead of fucking farming FaZe and Eureka alone. It's just one of the worst things about the thing, I think, that instance. It's the fact it's group content that isn't soloable. Like I say, it's not soloable because some of the bits of it literally need other players, and then you have to contend with the fact that you can literally just die on a normal boss or fate. There's a ridiculous amount of barriers to entry there, and it just makes it severely unpleasant. So you end up just not liking the grind because it's designed against you rather than for you. So there's no special thing at the end there. Obviously the drops are so sparse that, yeah, it literally again takes days of non-stop play, where it took me, what, 2 days to do Pagos, I think. It took me fucking 4 to do this. I think it even took me like 2 days to do Pyros, technically speaking. But it's like, it's so absurd how much you need to do. And this is what I mean with accessibility, like how far do we go? Do we make it so that people with mental health issues and can prove it, which is an important point, but again it's exploitable. Again, I never said it, but it is exploitable. But how far do we go? Do we give players the option to essentially waive the medical card, or even like just a call down sort of thing? Like, oh, well, you see you're struggling with this content, let's give you, or rather all players, an option to skip entire bits of content so that they can get the item they want. So for example, if I was given like a medical sort of excuse option in the game to skip any bit of content I want and have that refresh every patch, I know what I'd pick. It'd be like M12S at the moment. It'd be the Realm Reborn relics, maybe, or one of them anyway. I think I'm going to get the Black Mage Shadowbreed as well. I think that's probably one I'm aiming for now. Actually kind of cool, even though it's not flashy. I actually really like it. That's what I'm sort of thinking, was like, you wave that sort of card and you can bring sort of any sort of reward from the game that you want from a obviously set list of things. So you go to like some special place somewhere. I don't know. I think where it'd be, because I haven't explored everything in the game. I still need to do Island Sanctuary. But there has to be somewhere that you can sort of visit a vendor, use this like card of something that you get from obviously each patch, and be able to spend it on anything you want, like a Titanium mount, for example. I'd love to be able to not rely on obviously a stupid fucking golden chocobo feather thing to get that, and use like this again medical card thing to get there. And it may not even be a medical card, it could just be like a voucher sort of system. And maybe you save them up, like that's the other thing. It could be limited by that, but in the end I think it's more important to have this, and it unlocks every sort of thing in the game. Relic weapon, removes items, anything like that, and you can use it for those things. It's such a good quality of life feature, I don't know why they haven't added it. Yeah. Yeah, admittedly, it does remove like prestige and stuff, but again, why are we having this discussion? Most people don't give a shit that you've managed to complete what, M12S or ultimate version of a raid. Like, who gives a fuck? It really doesn't matter. And that's the problem here. People make a big deal out of it, rather, that these sort of things matter and they're grindable for a reason. They're either challenging content or tedious. And yet, to have an easy way out, an easy option to obtain it, would essentially defeat the purpose. But I'd argue at the end of the day, people are going for different rewards for different reasons, and most people don't want their time wasted, so of course they would use something like that to get an ultimate weapon for an ultimate raid where they need to put hours and hours into it. So it's an absolutely valid reason for this sort of system. But then we have to consider another thing, which is if we don't add a system like that, how do you address something like my Crohn's disease getting in the way of everything? And it's hard to put into perspective, but Crohn's disease is very unpredictable. Like, even now, I need to go to the fucking toilet. And I didn't need to 5 minutes ago, but now I do. But that's the problem. And then I get kicked from an instance, or I disrupt a group, find a group, but it's impossible. And I have to like force myself to hold it in cases of group content, like Unreal trials and stuff. Which is why I prefer that when there's an alternative there. But they don't have for some stupid reason for that. So I'm not sure why. It's like it's very inaccessible, and that's the problem. People don't really want to play a game that's inaccessible. And that's why I reckon Final Fantasy XIV's never really gotten any more popular than, well, when it peaked at Endwalker. That's because it just doesn't appeal to a lot of the audiences with responsibilities or issues that obviously can't be addressed by many other games either. This is how you stand out. It's by doing the right thing there and being accessible and being the game that people want to play, rather than the game that people need to play to get the rewards they only want. So it's a bit kind of weird in that sense. Deep Rock Galactic has the right idea about all these things. There's repeatable content, but everything is unlockable except for anniversary missions, which I'm not sure why they don't bring back. I do find that a bit weird. It's one of my biggest criticisms of the game, other than some tuning elements. But it's an extremely good game in terms of how it executes its rewards. And you just do missions, simple as that. It doesn't matter how flashy the reward is, it's there for you to do. And then the season pass, which it took me about 2 weeks or 3, however long it took me to get the Sugar Glider in Final Fantasy, because it came out at the same time I decided to start that. Which is a bit dumb for me, but sure. And I managed to do it, luckily. Yeah. Talking about the reward system. But the season pass is like 100 levels. You don't have to pay for it, just to be clear. Because it sounds like I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm not. The game is just, it's so fucking full of content. It's great. That's why it's one of my favourite games of all time. Yeah, it's not as accessible, believe it or not. That's one of the other problems with it, actually. Now look at it. It certainly has accessibility issues, but this does bring into question about how they don't actually enforce like bans or anything on anyone, it seems. At least as far as I know. You can literally cheat the game and get everything you want, and they won't care. The developers don't give a shit. There's no punishment for that, and I sort of understand if people do that in live service games where they can get banned. In fact, I did it once, GTA Online. Ended up getting a private menu, and I decided to give myself all the money and give myself some fun things to play around the world with. And I'd also crashed PCs of other cheaters, because fuck them. If they're like trying to attack players in the lobby or cheat or god mode, I investigate and I crash their game. I believe it or not, I've been banned by the mod creator for that. Don't care though. I'm doing the right thing. It's cunts like you that are making the game a worse place, so yeah. Being able to sort of support that sort of thing. And I don't really care if you cheat a game just to quickly get the rewards. I think that's generally fine as long as it's not hurting other players. I wasn't hurting other players in that sense. in that sense rather, when I was doing it myself in GTA Online. And that's why it's important to look out for this stuff. So again, back with the Crohn's disease, Crohn's disease, let's go with that. It's important to have room for those sort of things. So yeah, 10 minutes in an instance of an activity being kicked for an activity rather, it might seem like a lot even for Crohn's disease, but the problem is Crohn's disease literally can leave you on the toilet for a while, and I think being kicked for being AFK is stupid. But stupider than that is the fact that you remove buffs from your character. Like in Eureka specifically, you can put on something like Spirit of the Remembered and Wisdom of the Plate Bearer, and I usually go with Protect L for DPS. Although you can't go with Plate Bearer with any other. So yeah, if it's DPS to do that. Protect L is also good for your team as well because it reduces their damage. You can put on them, which I didn't know before. It's just a very strange design decision. But I'll get kids for an activity and suddenly I've lost not only my logograms I spent on that, because logograms are limited. It's just fucking stupid. It should be infinite, or they should refresh at least. It should be crafted and then be there permanently. Yeah, that's what I mean, it's inaccessible and then you get kicked and then it gets removed. So now you no longer have these logograms and you're essentially losing it. You don't have it back at all. So whatever you spent for that, for being kicked for an activity, is gone. Gone for good. And you probably spent, 100,000 gil on that, possibly. And it's just drowned down the drain. This is why I fucking hate that system. It is so badly designed. I like logograms, but I don't like the execution of it. There's so much improvement that can be made. But that's what I'm talking about. If I have Crohn's disease and if I have a flare-up, I want to be able to leave my PC and not be punished for having a fucking illness. Are you fucking kidding me? That's what I mean with this, in terms of accessibility, and I think this is why live services are also failing. You think about single player games and how they reward you for playing or even just coming back and playing, and they're not live services, and yeah, it's no wonder people are moving towards that. It's no wonder something like Hollow Knight Silksong was a success. At the top of the pricing as well, because that was brilliant marketing. There's so much good marketing around that, it was crazy. I remember hearing years ago people saying, oh, it's never going to release ever, and they're wanting one, and then it released. It's like, oh shit. And they already had a head start because it was already hyped, and then they just added to it. Well, that's brutal for the AAA games industry anyway. But even then they didn't do much in terms of accessibility, I don't think. So it's kind of like, yeah, even though these games don't do much for accessibility, even having the basic feature of being able to fucking pause and not being punished for not playing the game is just such a good thing that's taken for granted, even when I'm playing a MMO like I am now. It's one of those things you literally just want to have the option to play a different way, obtain things a different way. If I was to do, say, a 2-hour long version of, say, M12S to get that mount, and it's pretty difficult, and I think I'd rather do that, the 2-hour version, because I need to be able to pause. It's solo, I'm guessing. I want to be able to pause. I want to be able to get through it mainly, or even just do like a third version as well, where you do like smaller versions, or you get it from normal raid, which is my obvious solution here. You get 99 of these drops, and then that's it. I'll do 10 a day. I'll have it in 10 days. Simple. Problem solved. solve your game problem, Square Enix. I think you should fucking listen. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because it either requires dedication of skill or dedication of time, and I think that's the problem we have here when it comes to accessibility. Because again, it's not just about colour blindness, as is a common one, even just blindness in general. It's about so many different things. It could even be about audio. Having more options is just better than having none, like a lot of these games do. And yeah, even a basic feature, as I said, like being able to pause, is great. It's one that people take for granted, obviously. I don't really know what else to talk about here or add. It's sort of poking a topic that's been in a lot of people's eyes for a long time. At some point, it's like, it's tiring because at the end of the day, it depends on what you need, and this actually came about weirdly enough because of a topic I saw in the Final Fantasy 14 subreddit, of all things. And there was someone with pediophobia, just to be clear, it's got an EO, not an O. It's a different thing entirely. But it's a phobia of dolls. And they wanted a mod that would essentially remove any doll-like elements from the game, which is fair. I think that's a fair ask, and I don't have a problem with this myself. However, even though the comments didn't, it seems like a lot of these scrollers on there did not like it. It's just, what the fuck? It's so fucking dumb. Are you kidding me? There's someone with a fucking phobia here asking if they can have a mod or a way to modify the game to be more comfortable and be playable, for that matter, because it probably isn't playable with the existence of dolls. And yeah, just being shot on because you have a phobia. Like, what? Like, phobias aren't fucking taught, by the way. Certainly can develop, that happens. But it's insanely stupid to criticise someone for having a phobia. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, everyone has a sort of fear and even just a phobia. Well, I have a tad bit of arachnophobia, but part of that is coming from OCD as well. And I don't like skinny, crawly things, really. I'm trying to think what else there is. I don't know. There isn't really much else, I guess. Like more anxiety I have. I don't think there's much else. That's what I'm talking about. Again, being more accessible in that sort of sense. And even though I don't have a specific phobia that actually like cripples me or paralyses me, it's still good to look out for others in that sense. I've even played with players at a bar at store a while ago. When I used to play Heroes of the Storm, I was playing with a guy with a motor disorder? No, I don't remember what it's actually called, like motor impairment, I think it is. And it's to do with muscles and how they don't work properly. Essentially, they played the game one-handed, struggling with it, with one mouse, because they only had one arm that they can use. And everyone's like toxic as fuck towards him. I have no idea why. I've explained it as well, and they just don't seem to want to back down. There's also like extremely selfish players, and in a sense I think removing these players from the game would be good. Because, yeah, like you shouldn't be criticising someone for this. It's like they literally can't change and they can't control. Even then, I don't know where he is now. I think he's on my friends list still, technically on Battle.net. For all I know, he could be a fucking Heroes of the Storm pro now. With the right equipment and this impairment. it'd be great if he's actually made it. But even then, if he's not, it's fine. I just don't get why people take issue with this. It's again a matter of accessibility. Yeah, I just wish that there were components more designed for its needs. That's it, so you can actually play the game. It also requires like a mouse with programmable buttons, technically speaking, if there wasn't already one. Technically a remote mouse, but I don't know if they're as programmable as you think. I think there's a niche thing with that. I think it requires like macros and external software. It gets complicated. But that's sort of the thing I'm talking about anyway. Yeah, even external things are kind of useful. Yeah, I think, weirdly enough, it's like one use for AI as well. For someone with that pediophobia or even like tyrophobia, any sort of phobia for that matter, even having some sort of AI model that overlays your game, scans it for either potential or actual sort of, I don't know, one of these things that triggers the phobia, and then being able to either adjust it or remove it entirely would be really good. Yeah, and if it injects into the game, then there shouldn't be a problem. It's kind of like if, for example, I don't know, Genshin Impact started banning players for using a colourblind mod, which would be really stupid because people have colourblindness, and the fact the game doesn't have one is stupid in itself. So then they have to make do with what they got, which is a mod, and yet you're punishing them for something you could easily do yourself, which is just, yeah, fucking nuts. It sort of reminds me of that Nintendo Switch console modification stuff in Japan where it seemed deemed illegal to do that for some reason. There's obviously no reason because it wasn't justified. But people literally need to do that anyway. Not just to make it accessible, but also to mod games or even just extract games. So, yeah. Of course, fucking modding exists. People do it all the time. They even do it on cars. Like, what are you gonna do next? I notice, like, I don't know, trying to think of a greedy company of cars, like Mercedes. I don't know, let's throw Mercedes under the bus. If it's not a Mercedes bus, maybe it is. God, that'd be weird. But the same Mercedes decided to make it illegal to modify their cars for personal use. Upon, like, obviously getting law approved and stuff. But that'd be terrible for the fucking planet, and it'd be terrible for their cars as well. Because there are obvious reasons why you might need to modify it. There might be someone with no legs or no arms. It really depends, and they need to be able to drive, so of course they need to fucking mod it. Even if it means replacing the seat or the steering wheel or the pedals. Like, stop telling people what they should fucking do when they have problems that require specific solutions. Like, fuck off with that. If people start being able to bring around, like, I don't know, like wheelchair ramps to places that aren't accessible and make a successful, like, wheelchair ramp sort of thing, to be able to get into these places, then don't be fucking against it, for fuck's sake. It's good for them that they can finally reach places that weren't accessible before. But if you take issue with that, that's your problem. You know, you've got a problem with people in a wheelchair, that's obviously on you. It's not the person in the wheelchair's fault. At least we don't know. Yeah, I don't really know what to add, but I'm getting tired now and my throat hurts, so yeah, there's a topic. So let's move on. So, this is a topic that ideally we shouldn't be even talking about, but for some reason it has to be spoken about because, well, yeah, it's pretty much the reality we're in now. But I saw a most critical video recently about the Game Informer stuff where they've recently used AI to write the reviews, and apparently the AI isn't even reviewing the games. It's just taking from other reviews that have also talked about the game's preview. I think it was like Resident Evil, if I'm not mistaken, and yeah, just made something up out of that. And they're boasting about it. And then apparently the site is full of gambling ads, which is just fucking weird and also just dangerous. And yes, I've heard about the loot box thing, by the way, but I don't know enough about it at the moment. Apparently it's not actually applying to things like Overwatch, where ideally it should be applied, because it's still gambling. It's just there's stupid rules on it, so technically nothing is gambling unless it's actually for like a specific reward, like a Valve game, for example. Even though Valve games are rated like 15, 16 already. Anyway, yeah, this situation is just bizarre because this is really about the art of review and essentially what the point of it is. And whilst not everyone necessarily gets along with reviewers, there are cases where people do have familiarity with them, or at least maybe not personal relationships, but they develop into something like that. So it's like it's reviewed by, I don't know, IGN's Smithy Yogoman Jensen, something like that. And they're like, yeah, I recognise that guy, the Smithy Yogoman Jensen from IGN. And that's essentially what the art of review is. And you know their style, you know their likes and dislikes over time, probably. And it gives you a perspective into the games. And when you find a reviewer that you really get along with, it's like, yeah, that matters. And in my experience, I've had plenty of reviewers that I just don't actually share the same opinions with, or even just same likes and dislikes. And this sort of makes it difficult as well. Because one of the problems with reviews at the moment is people don't seem to prioritise experience over a rating, because rating is very secondary, in my opinion, and I think it always has been very secondary overall. But people don't seem to see it that way, and instead look at like review numbers as if they are the be all and end all for everything, as though it literally is the only thing that matters here. And that is concerning, because reviews are more than just the rating, they're the experience, and that's the most important part to get of it. And not only that, it's the most important part to get right. And you can probably see where this becomes an issue for AI, because AI is not going to have the same opinion, say, Smithy is. And Smithy is, say, like I don't know, like maybe not a horror game enthusiast, and maybe is preferring first-person shooters. And then they review something like Resident Evil Requiem, and it's like, oh, I didn't actually like this game that much, because horror isn't my sort of thing, and I didn't really get the appeal. And say something like that, and that's really where it counts. So if you're like me, and you're not a horror person, and you're like Smithy, in a way, then yeah, it really does matter, and it does count what reviews say. But an AI is going to look at that review and think, yeah, I'll take this, and suddenly they'll make a bad opinion about Resident Evil Requiem, okay, go in that language, sure. And you know, people who are into horror and review horror for that matter will look at that and think, okay, so it's a bad game then or something? Like, it really gets people thinking and questioning. And that's again the issue. Like, why the fuck is this even a thing? Why are we getting AI to review things now? It's just, again, it just baffles the mind. Just zero reason for a lot of this, and it just always seems to come down to greed as well. what even is there to say at that point? Well, it's just massively disappointing. And this is not the world that we should be living in or even just endorsing. It's like, as most critical put it as well, like the reviews on products that are like on Amazon, for example. The problem is, people use these reviews to make a very informed decision, and that's the point of review, that's the art of review. Because it's just a combination of all these things. You know, like, much like art in general, just is an element of real life and fiction. It's also got specific styles, it's got hand strokes, it's got specific people behind it, and even inspirations and emotions. That's what makes it human. Same with music, the same with even acting, and even like just TV in general, TV and movies. A lot of things have this sort of start on, and even to an extent, just basic things we take for granted, like a phone. They have their own complexity in that sense, and an AI is just going to fuck it up. There's no way it can actually get it correct. And that does make me sort of fearful in a way, because that's going to fuck us over. It's not going to do us any good in the slightest. I just see no benefit coming of AI reviews. And as most critical said as well, if a bunch of things are AI reviewed and fake reviews, then it's not going to help you make an informed decision. And essentially one day we may even see that people don't want well, not people actually, like corporations don't want return policies. So you get AI reviews everywhere, and then they remove return policies, so when you buy a fraudulent product, or something that's not even real, or, you know, something that just doesn't work, the moment you try to return it, they're like, no thanks, we can't take returns anymore, it requires very specific conditions or something like that. And it's like, okay, guess we're fucked. And, you know, you could be spending something like £1,000 on like a graphics card, for example, and then you get the wrong graphics card, or you get the graphics card that is like obviously not real, it's like a fake or like a knockoff. You try to return it and they're like, no. And also that'll be AI assistants dealing with that as well, dealing with the return policy. So yeah, this is the dystopia we're heading towards, and as I said before, you bought this on yourselves. Yeah, don't be defending AI. That's my only advice. That's the only advice we ever fucking needed since it began. And nobody listened. So, here we are. Welcome to the world of AI. Shitheads. Here's a thought I had. I've got two things. So the first thing I'll do is talk about this one supporting Vivaldi browser, and I want to give my justification for it. I think of all the browsers I've used so far, none have been this not only accessible but also complex and detailed. I've not seen a single one like that ever. And honestly, it deserves rewarding. And I honestly think this browser is worthy of like a monthly payment, not a massive one, but, you know, same as like everything else, something fair and balanced. And it's just not like run by corporations, so it's actually a good thing to have to support. And I think that's why a lot of us, and myself included, need to start supporting things more. But that's the next topic. But this Vivaldi browser anyway, I do find there are still problems with it. And weirdly enough, I got one recently that never used to exist, but since they've updated the browser, it seems to have come back. But it seems to break HDR videos, or well, videos in general, and that automatically makes them oversaturated and whatever. I don't know why it happens. It's one of the strangest bugs I've ever seen. It happened on Edge all the time, and it was fixable. However, when I did fix it for, well, Vivaldi here, it caused issues for the rest of the browser, so yeah. I suppose I can just turn. Actually, no, that's the problem. I can't turn HDR off because there's another issue. I can't turn it off through Windows because it turns down the brightness of everything, and then suddenly I can't see shit. Suddenly nothing's balanced, and I can't tell where everything is because it's so fucking dark. So there's that other issue here with how it's executed, it seems, and yeah. Honestly, HDR shouldn't, at least in Windows, assuming it's a Windows bug as well, you shouldn't be fucking auto HDRing like any old thing. And even though I've disabled that, it still fucking comes back and fucks me over. And I thought it fixed itself for a bit. I even changed the video flag thing in that secret setting, like Vivaldi semicolon dash, no, forward slash rather, not dash, twice, and then flags. And then it brings up this menu, and then you got this video dialogue thing, and changing it to DA9 fixes it, but it causes another issue where it just flashes the browser and refreshes it all the time. I don't know why it does that. I'm just sitting there playing Final Fantasy 14, watching, I don't know, Games Done Quick or something on Twitch, and it just refreshes randomly, like the entire browser, and it even stops the preview window, which is unusual. This shouldn't be happening. So I have no idea what's going on there with that even, especially when people need to use this thing, it has to be said. But even weirder is just when I went back to D11, it seemingly fixed itself, and then just went back to doing this shit again, the fucking, not the refreshing, but the HDR thing. Even though auto HDR is not on in Windows. I could double check it now. Please type in HDR on, HDR calibration doesn't do anything really. Display capabilities is not helpful. And auto HDR. But auto HDR is off. HDR is on, but when I turn off HDR, as I said, the brightness changes and then I can't see shit. So I have no idea what's going on there, although the other thing I did recently was update my driver. I was just curious to see if it fixed things, and it sort of has, but sort of hasn't. It's a bit weird in that sense. But yeah, the driver seems okay. It still has the stutter issue, I don't know where that's come from. It seems to be related to power outage, so it's probably damaged component. Yeah, as for like Vivaldi, I think the only fault from Vivaldi here is probably the HDR bug, although that's more Chromium, but to be fair, if you're coding this shit, then you should be able to fix it, right? Because that's very clearly a bug that's not intended, and it's quite easily replicable. Like, the fact I can do it as well is insane. Like, I've never been able to replicate a bug like this, and yet it's very consistent. It just requires refreshing the page, like using a new tab and stuff, and you'll see it clear as day, the issue there. So yeah, but I will support Vivaldi browser because it's good to have something that's not in your face about using AI or even just restricting your usage of it. You know, it's very good. I'm also impressed, and I've used it on Android, and even though it's not the most optimal one, it doesn't block ads for some reason. It's still better than others because now you can actually see tabs. You don't have the stupid scroll thing that Edge had, where you had to like scroll up or something to see the toolbar. Don't know why. It made it really inconvenient, but yeah, in the Android one you actually see the tabs, which is new to me because I've never had a browser on a phone that shows the tabs. Like, who the fuck? But that's good. Not really anything else to say really. again, I'm really impressed with Vivaldi. It is literally the best browser I've used and my favourite for that matter. Although, actually, there is one other issue. I don't know where this comes from, but whenever I open a new tab, and you know, so I go to my Final Fantasy Faux Hollow solver, why isn't my timer working? Okay. For some reason my timer, it's a bit weird. This looks kind of weird. I don't know. Hang on, I've got to sort this out. Yeah, alright. Yeah, when I open a new tab and then close it, well, no, it's when I drag it out actually. When I drag to a new window, also I hate the tile system, it takes it to the last tab. Not the last tab is in, not, it's the first tab actually, not the last tab. Fuck, what am I saying? But you drag out the window and it takes you to the first tab, and I don't want that. Like, it's fucking annoying. Like, what the hell? Can this stop? And the other thing I don't like is that Control W doesn't close the window when you open a new tab. You have to do it on the X, which I kind of prefer in a way, but it's also a little inconvenient. And I don't know if there's a way to fix that. I don't know. Because I want to be able to have a confirmation of closing the window, because that is handy. Has to be said. Close window, show confirmation dial, nice. Close window, oh, shortcut, okay. This test, I suppose. Control W is already assigned to close tab, what? Can't it be both? That's weird. Right, that's a strange decision to make. But yeah, look, why does it work on the tab anyway? If it's its own window. So I do find that a bit weird. Anyway, I better move on. But that's my thoughts on Vivaldi and supporting them properly. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. If there's any issues in the future. So far I've had not really any problems with the browser. Other than those. But they're quite minor in comparison to something like being forced with AI and that shit. And also being able to customize things like pressing Control D for some reason used to open bookmarks I think rather, which is a really bad hotkey because I used to use it to show the downloads that I had when I was downloading things from Radio or something. I had to obviously find the folder, like, oh, it shows it, and I'll do like the downloads bit here. It's really cool because it shows you the details, a list of it. It's also not in the way you can easily retract it. You can pause it somehow, pause all, or restore, remove all, and you can sort by it. You can sort it. Like, it's insane. It's so good. And the fact you can sort it is actually really beneficial. And I sort by type, I just found something here, which for some reason installed something that does on my system. What is this file type? Like, it's got the system icon, properties, just says file. Doesn't say where, and it's apparently in Octatel Delta an image, but I can't view it, which is interesting. So now I can just delete that. Like, oh, this folder is gone now. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's handy. Not sure what else there is. Like, just useful. Anyway, I better move on now for now. So yeah. So for the next topic is actually going to explain the thing I said earlier about supporting smaller things and why that's actually beneficial. Like, for example, even recently I bought some artisan vegan cheese because I was very curious to try it. So I am not nutto cake, rather, that's what they're called. So yeah, it's just a random mention, but I had to try everything. I tried the black pepper log and it's good. I'll say it's as good as something like Cathedral City, but it's still pretty decent. And I imagine it's a healthier alternative because there's I think it's made with nuts if I'm not mistaken, which is actually incredible. I have had nut cheese before and it's been good, but I'd say this good. Anyway, I want to talk about those things specifically where you donate to something. And I'm not specifically talking about charity, I'm talking about the sort of smaller things that we can take for granted, like again, the web browser situation with Vivaldi. Another reason I'm supporting them now. But the other thing is to do with like smaller things we also take for granted in things we enjoy, like a certain website or even something like what I used recently, like Eureka Tracker for Final Fantasy 14, which is a website, by the way, I should mention that. And it's been absolutely fucking crucial in getting to where I am now with 3 stage 4 relic weapons from Stormblood, and it's been insanely useful for that. Without that I wouldn't have found the logograms, I wouldn't have found the recipes for them, I wouldn't have even been able to track the fates and even announce them. And then also a shout out to Eureka Academy for also providing ways to get groups, and well, at least groups through shouting out the fates you spawn, but even then, probably in Arsenal. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean when I say we need to support these things. Because usually, at least what I think I know about them anyway, it's usually a very sort of, I don't know, like a localised thing, or I don't know how you describe it. But it's usually a thing that is supported through someone who's doing it solo, or even like a small group effort, and they often don't expect anything in return. Which I think translates to, okay, we should give something in return, because that's sort of how kindness works. It's like, okay, you're doing this really great thing out here for a bunch of people, a bunch of players in a sense for the game, and we need to support them however we can. I think that's really important, and without that I don't think we'd have these options out there. And with even something like mods, I won't paywall a fucking mod. I'd rather have a mod stand on its own 2 feet, be good in the way it does things, like a game mod, I mean. Maybe just like a modification for like something else, like a Switch maybe. But to support those would be incredible, because if they do the job that they're supposed to do, and I'm happy with it and satisfied like I am with Vivaldi and Eureka Tracker, I'm happy to support them. Because they do a job and I feel like they deserve a reward for this, because it's fucking incredible. The Eureka Tracker is insanely good because it does everything you need it to. It shows you the elements, although the only thing it doesn't do is list fates. That's the problem with the fate name. It only lists the boss name, or the fate boss, whatever you call it. For some reason they're all bosses, I just realised. That was a weird detail I never noticed before. But anyway, but they're so useful for that, and again, it wouldn't be possible without it, and that's why I think it needs to be supported. And then there's something that I want to support, like a Faloop in Final Fantasy 14, so these examples are about the game, but I try to think of others that probably exist out there. Actually, there was one I supported, Tablis. And I bought a coffee for Tablis because it's just such a good new tab sort of thing. It shows you wallpapers from Unsplash, is it Splash? I can't remember what it's called. Something Splash. And there's no AI. And you can customise it as good as you want. Now if I was to go onto my new tab here, got a photo by Jeremy Bishop from Unsplash, and it's a picture of I believe either a swimmer or a diver, or maybe even just a small boat swimming around a rock, and it's a nice image. It's high quality, it's great. And then I've got my time here as I've customised it. It's a 24-hour clock, and I've got the date, Saturday, March 14th. And then I've got the local weather and the detail below that. So it's like 9 degrees, cloudy, 4 degrees, it feels like apparently, and about 50% humidity. This is such a great feature, and it's customizable. And that insane detail is worthy of obviously being supported, having extra funding for it essentially. Like if you already have a job, you think you should get rewarded for this again. It should be unpaid, and it's kind of the point I make. If we want to have a nicer world with nicer things in it, I think this is just a necessary sacrifice. I'm not sure if that's the term, technically it can be. You need to support these things that even though they may be expensive or may not even be like paywalled, there are reasons to support them, and that's because they exist for a reason. I recently bought a bunch of fucking sparkling water. I won't say from who, but it's a good company from what I can tell, because it's healthy and they're not promoting any of this bullshit with sweeteners or health. It's just water essentially, and it's flavoured, and that's what I want in water essentially. It's not like those stupid ones with oh, you can flavour your water by tricking your brain sort of things. It's actually flavoured. It's got the ingredient in it rather than out of it, which is just ridiculous, by the way. The fact that people are even believing that and selling it. My god. That's what I mean, we support these things, and that's why. And we want them to stay around if they are doing the job doing the job right, essentially. I think if we don't support them, they could be gone and they could be taken for granted. That's kind of why I urge on trying to donate. There's even another thing here that on my phone I've got something called Unsplash, I think. Is it Unsplash? Yeah, so I'll check something quick. Before I check that, okay, it's good. Resplash, that's it. And it's the same thing basically as tablets, but I get a new phone wallpaper every day. There's no AI. Admittedly, you get some weird wallpapers, even though I'm pretty much specifically asked for landscape. I need to double check that. Like, how easy is it to view? Like, okay, settings maybe? Nope, that's not it. So, this thing, nope, collections. Okay, that's a bit weird. I think we've changed it, because I can't find the thing. It's been add account. And I've already supported it, so what are you on about? There's basically some setting somewhere, was it plus? No. Yeah, that's weird. It was a good app, I don't know what's happened to it now. For some reason I got sponsored shit. So Jesus, nothing. Huh. Oh, very strange. So wallpaper? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's weird. They don't call it just settings. So current source wallpaper collections. Just says collections, and I picked mine. I've got nature wallpapers, clear water. That's probably why I'm getting the weird ones. So let's remove that. And wallpapers probably as well. Nature, keep. Actually, no, I remove. I'll just keep travel and world. So now I've got those wallpapers, and yeah, and also it gives you an icon in the app to switch the wallpaper if you don't like it. And I've used that quite a few times actually. Get rid of like the people, and for some reason, I don't know why, but there are pictures of kids on there as well. It's really fucking creepy, so I skip ahead on that obviously. That's the only bad thing about Unsplash, I guess. Just doesn't seem to be much moderation in that sense. But either way, I do appreciate it and do respect it as well. It's honestly really fucking good. So yeah, that's why I support these things essentially. Yeah. It's got its benefits, and that's the point. That's why I think it's so important. So what else is there? Trying to think. I think that's roughly about it, to be honest. Because, yeah, supporting things is good, but I think you can only do what you can do. So I like pay a small portion of what I get, which is about 1%, I'd say, as a counter. And I think that's not much, but it actually does pay for a few things. But I can set up things for like a monthly as well, and I do that in some places actually. So for the things that I actively want to see kept there stuff, admittedly I won't do it for Eureka Tracker. In fact, I might just pay a fair portion to that, but yeah, for the things that do something really special and whatnot, it's like I could do monthly. I could even just do less and do it monthly as well. So it really varies, but that's the point of it. Anyway, better move on. Yeah, that's why you should donate to smaller things, as you can't really take them for granted. So here's something that's bothered me recently that came unexpectedly. There's a lot of these in this for some reason, I don't know why. Good God. Yeah. So I was on the way home in a car, obviously. Where was I? I had to pause. I can't remember. I assume it was about the time when I was going back home. Yes, that bit. We're going down the motorway. Not really a motorway, actually. You know, there are a few. It's actually a dual carriageway, I think it's called. And weirdly enough, one of the weirdest things happened on that. Something that you don't see every day, which is a person crossing it. Now, for some reason, there aren't any traffic lights or anything, which even though some do, these ones don't, for some reason. Yeah, believe it or not, they do. I'm not sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I reckon it does make things worse in a way. Because it's better to have flowing traffic rather than obviously none. But then you get a situation like today, where I saw one of the most bizarre things imaginable. That's just been on my mind all the way home and even to now. And that's about this person who was crossing. He was already suspicious enough upon approaching, essentially pointing at cars as they went past. She was on the sidewalk, nothing unusual there. Yeah, a she, it seemed. It's not really relevant, like, what ethnicity she is, but maybe there is a language barrier there, sort of thing. So it could possibly be that too. Like, it's not just language barrier, but cultural barrier too. It's, like, for some reason they're fucking roundabouts. I don't know why. But there were so many roundabouts on dual carriageways. It's a bit weird, I'll be honest. But yeah, one of the interesting things with that is this person was going to cross, and they decided to. I sort of looked away for a second because it did look clear. And as she was crossing, she pointed to another car that was back, and then fucking tripped. She was like turning into a sprint and tripped. Like, what the fuck? Like, what am I even seeing? I don't think anyone's ever done that, and yet it's just happened right. I know she didn't get run over, thankfully. I know a lot of people are quite spiteful about that thing. I'm not, to be honest. I get the frustration, but it doesn't really warrant that. Like, never really does. But that happened. And yeah, she got back up and then seemingly walked back to the middle, where she was about to cross again, and luckily went past her, but yeah, what the fuck. But there is a thing about this that I find interesting, which is also a fallacy I brought up, because I was thinking, what the hell even was this about? Could it be someone who's drugged up, or again, as I said, not used to the cultural norms here, or just how dual carriageways work. There's so many different things it could be, and then if you start to assume that it's just some random dickhead, then that's just an assumption fallacy. I don't know what else to call it. Or at least if it's not an assumption fallacy, it's something along the lines of, oh, you got no evidence. Because that literally is what it is. There's no evidence for your claim about this person who trips over on a fucking carriageway. So it's just extremely bizarre. And I don't really know what the situation is exactly to have caused that, and what happens. So it's hard to say even what this was about, how it even became a thing. Like, you don't trip up on the carriageway every day, which a lot of people do. But then there are other things going through my mind, though. She maybe running from a stalker or something, like, you never fucking know. It could be anything. Again, drugs, cultural, stalker, it could even be just panic, like a severe mental health issue. And, you know, it did sort of trigger something in me, realising that seems like a panic. Like just running across the road. I've done that a few times. I've never tripped though. And so I don't know what the deal with that is. It's very strange. I've never seen anything like it. The other thing is she had like multiple bags as well. I saw at least 4, I think, by my count. But what the fuck did I just see? There's the thing that constantly runs through my head. It's impossible to even find an answer because obviously you're not there to ask. And to be honest, I don't know if I want to. It's one of the weird things. I already had a bit of a rough end to the day there, given what I was going out for anyway. And it just gets on my nerves. That's just how my day goes, and then having shit like this on it, and also seeing like dead animals along the fucking dual carriageway, which is never a pleasant sight. And also I don't understand why people don't look out for animals. It's like people do this on purpose. It's actually fucking disgusting. And there are situations where you can't help it, if there's something like running out from the bushes as you're driving past and suddenly they get onto the wheel, you can't do anything about that. But a lot of these cases seem like they actually do have some windows to actually avoid them. I'm lucky to have not seen any animals run over in my life, like, thankfully, but I've seen them the aftermath. In fact, weirdly enough, one where near where I used to live, there's like a place I went to get my assessment for autism. I think it was autism, was it? It has to be, because they had the same name as the place, but anyway. It was traumatising to see a dead fox on this like mini roundabout, because it was a mini one. And yeah, that's always stuck with me, because it's just like, you see the blood, the trail of blood of people running over the fox that's already dead. Again, it's just traumatising. So I don't understand a lot of these things with, oh, let's just run over the animal to be sure, or oh, it's already dead. Again, it's just a fallacy. So it just doesn't help. Yeah, it's not a nice situation, any of this really. I just felt like bringing it up because it's not something you see every day. It's just so unusual. It's a thing, it's not really a concept, but you know, it's just reality now. And yeah, I don't really know how to address it. It's just so bizarre. Anyway, I think I want to move on because I've got things to do. I'm hungry. I don't know. I was hungry a bit before leaving, but not so much now. I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Anyway, I better move on. So, Bozja first impressions. Oh, South Horn, is it called? I fucking forgot what it's called now. Something Horn anyway. And yeah, there's already some issues. The entry here is a bit stupid. I don't like those through the Dome and Conclave, and you know, this is Shadowbringers content, by the way. They didn't even make something for Shadowbringers. It's just a continuation of Stormblood, which is questionable, I have to admit. But here we are anyway. So yeah, I'm still learning, I have to say that. So my opinions are purely based on what I've encountered so far. So obviously leading up to this, I'm doing the relic weapons. I'm doing two, one for Black Mage and one for Summoner. And yeah, Bozja and Summon Front, there we go. And it's got some interesting things. You have to use Poex to get the, what's up with the zoom on the map there? That's weird. You have to use Poex to buy the Favarian Mist, was it? What was it? Favarian Scale Powder. That was it. I have no idea. I keep forgetting it's pronounced that way. But I've not got that yet. I only got the first lot for the Summoner. Which is a bit annoying, I'll be honest, but you know, you can get it through casual play anyway, so it's not bad really. Just wondering what else there is you could stock up on, because it would have been helpful to know that before I started buying augmented credenium rings, however you say that, as well. And then you have to unlock the Bozja instance, which is annoying in itself. But luckily it's pretty easy to enter, other than the Dome and Enclave shit. I hope there's an Aetherite version for it to just teleport here to begin with. It'd be a bit more useful. Here we are. Start a few quests, unlock the area, kill your first 3 enemies, you get a thing for that. What is it? The Forgotten Fragment. Hand it into the guy, unlock the rest of the thing basically. And you just get there over time anyway. So it's a bit of a spoiler there. And then you unlock the Lost Finds, which is basically a logo system from Eureka. I don't really like it, to be honest, and I could do with opening a few. It's about the same sort of bullshit, and there's a bit more to it, but at the same time I just feel like all these low level things are a bit useless, in my opinion. We'll see. Like, I've not seen half its abilities. Like potion kits, what the fuck is that? Crystallized memory of an esoteric technique, only available for use in Save the Queen areas. I don't know what the fuck that is. Also, why they're the only classes they can use it. Skirmisher, Profane, Breathtaker. Oh, this is like Wisdom, yeah. Kind of useful, I guess, in some ways, but you've got so many to collect, it's actually a bit ridiculous. And I made a mistake of, oh, you can store them back, that's good. But I do like the system where you can store them, so if you're not using them, you can put them back, and also it's saved. That's the other thing. I just realised it saved it for me. Except for this. That's gone, I think. I just confirm it. Oh, it is there. Lost shell, okay. Yeah, honestly, it's really good. I do like that. I think it's useful. But I don't know, like, you get infinite uses of this, but how long does it last for exactly? Like, how long have I got shell for? I'm confused. I got lost cure again somehow. Yeah, then these item related things I'm not sure how to use exactly. Increase physical defense by 150%, so you can become a tank, I guess. I don't know what for that is. Breathtaker increases poison resistance and movement speed, including mount speed. Okay, interesting. And evasion by 10%. Effect upon use. And Skirmisher increased damage dealt. Critical hit rate by 10. Okay, that's useful. Come to Papa. So yeah, that's like that stuff. And you have to normally access it through Lost Find Holster. You have to pop it. Seems infinite, which is good until death, I guess. So maybe not infinite. I forgot to tune the Aetherite, but it actually tuned it for me, which is interesting. And then the gimmick for the relic weapon here is the same as the Demi-Atma, I think, in Dawntrail, which there's a lot of similarities between the two. That's the first thing I noticed. So the grind seems to be, you go through these. For some reason, enemies aggro on you, even though your resistance rank is higher than them. I'll explain the problem with the enemies in a second. Where is everyone anyway? That's just this guy. Okay. Let's get this bugger. Yeah, so it seems to be collecting memories of the dying, but it's a bit confusing to figure out at first, because it's a bit like, well, how do you get it? It's not saying a specific one, and it says where to get it, but not exactly how. Yeah, it's very strange. And also is the first problem. Scaling seems to be a bit off here. You seem to die very fucking quickly, even with damage taken reduced. Like, what the fuck is this? I'm about to fucking die now. What? This doesn't make sense. This is the first massive problem. There's nothing I can do because everyone's doing something else. Even though it's pretty much... Oh. That's new. So I can't do anything. That's the strange thing about this. It's impossible to farm solo, much like Eureka is, and that just makes it really shit. And then I can't do areas like this because I've already got the fucking dying memories from that. So there's no upgrading the weapon. See, I don't know what that's about, but there's no fates either, so I'm going to have to do the quest here instead. So no idea what's happening there. So I don't like the enemy scaling on this. It's already shit, in my opinion. It's already one thing that just doesn't work. And this doesn't make sense either. I don't know if it's just a lost find thing that I need to pop, or is it something I need to put on to protect myself. Also this stage, which is interesting. Which is good. Yeah, I was a bit worried about that. It's just not well designed. I hate this. The enemy design is just awful, and like, what happens if I encounter this? Is it hostile, given the icon? That's easy to figure out. But how much damage does it do to me? And the damage I do to it doesn't seem to matter. It just seems to always be tanky. And this is my gear, by the way. Like, yeah, it's not a relic weapon, but like the relic weapon does fuck all as far as I know. It's got 5 slots of materia, but it's not going to do much. It's not got any bonuses. I'm just better off using this for the meantime. Then look, a rank 1, a rank 3, and they just do tons of damage if you encounter them, if you fight them. The map design here is a bit weird. You get the trenches in the first area. And this second area, some interesting bits. It's a bit more progressive in that sense. So that's one thing. What's the next? Resistance rank, you get metal from fates only, so no enemy farming, which is a bit weird. Cross into these places, interesting. There's nobody here. It's probably storage spoilers here, so... And, under attack. How long will these take to kill me? So, let's see. There you go, much health, which is good. There's more. Sort of expected anyway. So other than enemy scaling, there's the system of fates. And fates are how you get your metal and your poetics and other things like the fragments you just saw. And yeah, you also get lock boxes, which gave me this thing, and it gave me a nice barding from my chocobo. So I don't know what else there is. It gives you annoying bits as well, like the magic prisms system, which needs to be reworked in my opinion. I think it just needs to be added to a different slot, or use your key item slot as part of it. Simple. Problem solved. Again, like what I listen to players. Yeah, fate design is a bit weird too, as you just saw. I died from an enemy that's my rank, and it killed me in seconds, and I had no chance to react as well. But even then, like, if you say, oh, kill the ads first, like, what the fucking ad's got to do with it is a fucking boss. And you don't even need to pull the ads, so it doesn't make sense. Even if I pulled the ads, they do respawn, I think, because I did encounter one before, and boss enemy for that matter. And also, like, nothing's changing here. Like, how's it got 12%? And like, some of these auto-complete themselves because they're sort of populated, which I do like. You also got your standard return as well. I do like that about Fates. There's also a really funny one around here somewhere. I think it's there actually, where you it's really clever actually. I really like this design of the one over here, but you destroy the crates. Yeah, it's that defense fate cliche but turned on its head, which I fucking love. I hope there's more fates like that, more creative in a way. Yeah, I think it's interesting how it does turn some of the ideas on their head. But man, some of the designs on it are just not good, and the fact you're supposed to group so many enemies up to beat the fates is a bit crappy, in my opinion. Also, why don't I just pick, can't speak, Swap the Warrior? Could do that, might be an option. But yeah, it's a bit shit, has to be said. But then we get the interesting part, which for me is critical encounters, which is obviously what Occult Crescent has at the moment. But here it's done better. It's done very well. Because you don't actually have to travel to these critical encounters. No. You just have to register for them, which takes a total of 1 minute to register. You get it on your sidebar at the bottom. I'll skip this for the moment, I'm not really reading it. And yeah, you just register for it. It says the amount of players in it. So resistance recruitment, it'll show up here. Are there players joining? Yeah, okay, some of them are joining. And then you just register and wait a minute, and then it will tell you can commence, which will teleport you to the encounter, wherever that may be. It could be here and you're here. Could be here and here. It's really good. It's surprisingly well thought out, as opposed to Occult Crescent, where you have to travel all the way from an Aetheryte to that, which is a bit dumb. Also, you need to do the Aetheryte here. I forgot to do that when I first got here, so that's not good. Critical encounter difficulty though. Oof. I've only done about, almost said the meme there, 6 or 8 minus 1, and it varied in a way. It wasn't difficult, but at the same time you can die. I noticed when bosses were attacking me, because there's no tank, I ended up taking a lot of damage and needing to heal myself a lot rather than do damage. And they take about, I think, 1 minute to 2 minutes each, which can be a bit mixed in my opinion. Mixed results rather. Also, I hate that glamours don't apply here either. That was just so fucking weird. God damn it. Let's try that fate again. Also need to apply that. Also, you can switch classes, I forgot about that. You can switch them in the middle of the fucking field. Finally. I hated that in Eureka, and I don't know why they haven't changed it. I just want to switch classes for fuck's sake, and now you can do it. Yeah, it does remove your actions, but still. It's better than what it currently has. Yeah, I guess you do need to... Oh, fuck it. We bought. Let's go with that. No idea what I'm doing. We'll see where it goes. So yeah, what else is I guess enemy range seems to be a bit better here rather than Eureka, where it's just fucking undying. Again. It just seemed to be a bit more tunes better here because of the way that they just leash a bit better here. I don't know how to explain it. The leashing was a big problem in Eureka because you would spend ages going away from an enemy to get rid of it. But here it's much more limited, so say that Legionnaire Vanguard was aggroed on me for some reason. You can easily get around it by going like up to that rock there, that boulder, whatever that is. Fucking dying. Where the hell did my buff go? So I'm gonna die again because of the bad design. I can't afford a potion, so what the fuck? As I kill that. Yeah, there we go. Just done that. If it kills me, get that up. Yeah. Also, obviously there's like questionable designs. Also, do you get anything from losing at this? I'm curious about that actually. Take the mask off first, maybe. Yeah. What else is there? I can't upgrade the relic weapon here because of the stupid design here, the drop rates being in specific areas. I'm assuming there's a second area because there's no way that only those drop from here. I've only got these two. It doesn't say where they come from though. Also, I'm not going to complete this fate. But they don't spawn for some reason. That's weird. Because when it was full, there was like about 50 odd players here, and they were spawning everywhere. It was actually hard to keep track of it, but now there's nobody on here, and nothing is happening. So it's very weirdly balanced. It has to be said, it's just not well designed. It feels like it could have done a lot better here and there. Metal, but no thing, okay. Still kind of worth it, to be fair. It's based on your progress, which is good. Also, what's up here? Also, you need to unlock each area. It's a progressive thing. So Resistance 5 unlocks this area, and then I'm assuming 10 unlocks this area. Max rank I've seen is 25, so I don't know how far that goes. And what else is trying to think. There's a secret area down here. I'm assuming that's for like a boss, and there's probably one up here. Unless this is all like 6 areas, and I just don't see it yet. But joke about how much damage will it do to me? I'm curious. Okay, not much. Just a little peck. Oh, what the fuck is that? Resistance Appropriator. Oh, you got an initiation one? That's interesting. Is this the one with the crates? Interesting. Yeah. There's obviously a lot to figure out with this, I think. Because it seems overwhelming at first, but in the end it's a bit kind of and you get rewards for these Bozja clusters, which I haven't got many of at the moment. Where are they? Did they just store as a currency or something? That's weird. Sure. Got a moment. No, I haven't. Just a worm attacking me. Also, it didn't kick me out of the dialogue. That's unique. Oh god, it's this collection. No, I haven't done this yet. The collection one, are you kidding me? Oh, it does interrupt, okay. What happens if we engage one of these? I do like this element. I can't remember if I mentioned it, but it does feel populated because of these enemies here. Also, why am I taking so much damage? There's a lot of things here that don't make sense either. But it's at level 1. How am I fucking dying? The power scaling in this makes no sense, it seems. At least the parts come from them. That's a good thing, so I suppose I could pull more. And only these ones with the icon count, so not the gunship there. That wouldn't count. We've got these here. They would count. So yeah, it's very fucking weird in areas, and I can't really put my finger on why, but it's just... It feels lazy, like it hasn't been tested properly. And this is my first collection fate, so this will be interesting to see how much it fills the bottle. And I need to film because I'm fucking dying again. What is this damage? Like, again, the health scaling on this is bugged as fuck. I don't know what the problem is. It just seems like it's not actually doing damage when I'm actually doing damage. It needs to be doing about 11 or 13k at most to get these down quicker. That's what I noticed anyway when I was doing it on Pictomancer briefly. Of course, the only reason I've stopped now is because of survivability, which I have no choice in, because that's what I have to do now, it seems. And again, like the resistance rank, I'm 6. This is 3. Like, what the fuck is the rank even for? I genuinely do not understand it. It's literally like they haven't played this. It's like they just slapped something together and, much like a gold crescent, just left it. Just, what? Okay, I'm getting bored now. Can I fucking hand it in? Why is there 1 there? That's really fucking cruel. Bro. Okay, it's done. Good, I can leave now. I'm assuming it still counts. Let's show that aggro range. Come on. Get over here. Forgot I have a cure. So it's possible to survive more. The cure potency is really good on that. One thing was about over there, I think it should be leaving now. Here we go. So should the Avenger, which is over there. Oh, maybe it is the same range. Okay, that's worrisome. Worry more. Anything else to explore? I don't think so. Something there. Is that a bridge? What's that? I see something connecting that. Yeah, this is Bozja. Like, as far as the grind goes, I don't know. Part of me prefers Eureka in a lot of different ways, but part of me also prefers this. And that's only really when it's full, when there's the correct right counter also leveled up. So I don't know what comes after. Also, I don't like the aggro range, it's a bit stupid. Feels very off to me, that aggro range. Like the fact I'm not even in front of them either. It's very odd. Graphically, again, not really anything special, it's a bit dull. That looks bad. I've got medium settings. Oh. Okay, so this is another area. It's interesting. Yeah, I've got like medium settings on. What the fuck is that? Is that a special or something? Or if I get hit by it? Ow! Fucking hell! Run! That's not good. Don't engage. There's someone there. Help me. Okay, good, it can't attack after that. That's gonna kill some random DPS at some point. That's another thing I hate. It's just when things one-shot you like that shit. That's so stupid. What the fuck, man? Yeah, they got these sort of fates where it's very busy. But sometimes it just doesn't do much. And I should really fucking drop fate, I'm dying. Yeah, we've got to die now. Roughly. Just spam this. So I get that, there we go. Yeah, I might as well drop fucking aggro. So that's a bit dumb. Again, scaling is just very off. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's just not right here. There's like no such thing as areaing them down or area attacking, whatever you call it, AA. Alcoholics attacks. Yeah, I guess that's something. Yeah, very mixed bag so far. Very mixed on this, and I think that's a great one there. No camping out here is. We'll have to wait and see, I think, in terms of whether this improves or not. If it will ever improve, that is the question. Also, I didn't get a fucking... Oh, I did get a die, okay. But to say, if you don't get them all the time, well, what's the fucking point? And yeah, doing this on each enemy one at a time is probably going to be too slow, that's the problem as well. Much like Eureka, like spawning the fates, but I prefer the fates spawning randomly because it's a bit of a hassle getting them to spawn. But here it's like consistent, it's automated. That's what I like about this more than Eureka. The fact it's all automated and you don't have to fucking worry about it or track anything, as far as I know anyway. So far. Yeah, so it's okay. Anyway, better move on. So it's gone on for a while, I need to pop phone whilst I pause the video. So yeah, let's see, move on in a sec so I don't die. So these will be my second impressions of Bozja after doing group content. I got some things to say about it still. It's not good still. My opinion, so the moment I joined the group I got more memory of dying and even Bozja clusters, which previously wouldn't drop for me. So that's good. There isn't really much else there. And then people suddenly, I don't know what this is, this seems to be recent, but people are saying, like, looking for group cast room, I don't know what this is about. Because I've not unlocked it yet, and the quests are in such weird fucking places. In fact, I'm going to go do this one quick. Also, these names are horrific. I can't figure out where is where. I'll see this, it's just alright. I can figure out two, because I have like, stupid ideas about what to call them. Yeah, still not good content at all. It's just some of it's good, but some just really bad. And I've only recently discovered that, or remembered rather, that you can get logos for DPS that works somewhat well. But there's still issues, and I did discover that yes, these mobs, the number doesn't represent resistance rank because they're not part of the resistance. Don't know how it didn't occur to me before. But that's because the game doesn't fucking explain things to you. So, in that shit I was thinking, oh, this must be level progression. No. It certainly is not. So yeah, basically if I engage with that thing, level 3, that's not going to end well for me. Level 1 though, I could probably take. So there's like some weird fucking power scaling still, even despite that. That discovery is quite crucial. If it's going to be done before I get there. And I'm skipping the lore because mainly I can't give a shit at the moment. I'd rather just look at a lore video later. I was thinking maybe I should pay attention to it if there's like any groups, but I don't know. Also, nobody farms this area. I find that weird. I've got a dying memory for everything except that area. Not a single bit for that yet. So I don't know what's going on there. I'll try to catch this fate. Some of the critical encounters are a bit weird. The red chocobo one seems way overtuned. It does get you to rethink things, which I can appreciate in a way. It's unique, has to be said. But I don't like it, personally, because it's very sort of one-sided. Either the players understand it or they don't, and that fucking sucks. It sucks for a lot of players, and I just, can't get along with it. This content seems easy to follow, what the fuck? Some fights are easy and some are just really hard, and this is an easy one. I don't understand it. And as far as I know, players do not impact it, because I've had this problem without players. It's a bit weird, I'm just sort of AFK farming at this point. I have to AFK farm, so I'm busy. There's a torture of memory. Let's go back to home and someone's doing that, okay, so there's a group around. I don't know what castrum is, it's weird, but it turns out you can AFK whilst being in a group and you'll get like the drops somehow. I might just ask that. Yeah. So strange, I'll just get a notification in a second, won't I? Can we skip these? Fucking. Yeah. I need 40 of these, that's the problem, so I have to group up. Also the Bozja clusters, that's the thing I need to talk about. It seems to be more frequent from being in a group, and I don't know how they drop again, as I said. I only got, I think, 8 by doing it normally. The moment I joined a group, within about 5 minutes I had 20, so I was able to get the riding map. Yeah, as I said, it's shit design. It is not good. Whatever I've found on it is just not good at all. So increasing metal a bit more. Yeah, what else have I discovered? Obviously there are better essences than others, it seems. Also, why the hell are they all grouped up? Wait a minute. Is this one of those? Yeah. I better be careful here. I might as well stop the DPS. And why is that thing following me? This is low level. The problem is you can wipe on this. Like, look at the health. It's barely going down for these few mobs here. And I'm just going to die because, again, the tuning is way too high. Well, actually, it is going down fast with that one there. So I don't know. Well, I could also sleep then, technically speaking. I forget I have that. It's very easy to forget. Oh, that can't sleep. Actually, it can't. What the hell? Okay, so I guess you can't like solo farm and shit. Okay, now it's not going down in health, so I don't know what's going on there. And nobody's got a group. Great. I mean rear. It says rear, but it fucking attacks underneath, so why not just foot? Also, someone's speaking Russian in the chat. I don't know what the fuck that is. Weird. Didn't even know the game supported Russian. Unless it's Ukrainian. It's hard to say because the fucking characters are the same sort of shapes. There we go. Done. No fucking drops of memory. Great. Amazing. Like, how do you even get it? I don't understand. The game doesn't explain this to you, so it's just all in the dark here. Yeah, and someone earlier pulled one of these and fucking killed us. We had to respawn. That's the problem with group content here, it seems. Anyone could pull anything and you just won't know in the midst of the fucking chaos if the thing will kill you or not. It's just very poorly designed. And that's just been a consistent issue. I just don't get it, and resistance rank doesn't mean anything. I don't understand why they added the system to begin with. It doesn't do anything for my gameplay. I've never got the notoriety thing, so I don't know what that's about. It's just, there's a bunch of ridiculousness that just shouldn't be here. Is that boss fight? Yeah, boss, because the icon. So it's hard to tell. Get over here. Motherfucker. Ah, shit. Well, I'm dead. Yep, pretty much. So I killed them. That's so annoying. Yeah, I don't really know what else to add here, but as I said, I'm not really enjoying this. It's go without saying. Also, that's a boss. I don't know why it's not even showing as boss. Can I fucking survive for a second here? Like, a lot of fucking bullshit. Look at that, almost dead. This is just from one enemy. I've got protection, I've got the fucking buff up. As I said, it's overtuned. Like, why is it so fucking hard for people to understand? It's not fucking rocket science. Yeah, it's just more frustration, and being a caster on this seems hellish because you're just punished for moving, and you have to move as well. So why didn't the thing go off? Like, what the fuck is going on there? I'm supposed to get Blizzard free. That's weird. That's I'm dying again. Like, how am I supposed to complete this? I do not understand it. Is there a trick I'm missing? Is there, like, elements? Like, no? What the fuck is going on? It's almost like sometimes a player's presence can just impact it all. Make you sort of, I don't know, like the amount of players in the server impacts it or something. I don't know. It's very weird. And again, I don't know why this is so punishing, because I can't do shit. It's barely at 50 fucking %. I've still not even got it down. It's so badly balanced. What the fuck is this? Do I just sit here and die? Is that the sort of thing it's encouraging me to do, like get hit? Is that a trick? Because I really do not understand. It is just confusing. I just won't heal then. Then we'll see what fucking happens. Okay, it's not doing damage now for some reason. It's barely going down in health as well. Like each thing does about 3%, which for a solo fucking Fate shouldn't be that low. So it just doesn't make any sense. So I've got patterns as well. So someone's farming that and there's no group, so again it's like more Final Fantasy community jank. It's the other thing with this, it seems. Yeah, absolutely fucking miserable. And then whatever this Castron thing is, I've been completely excluded from the gameplay because what? I'm low level? Like low resistance rank or something? Again, who designed this? It's fucking shameful. It's so fucking bad. You can't be designing games like this in, what, 2018? It's fucking terrible. It's really bad for a live service. Well, I guess I won't get a memory, will I? No. Right, reporting it. Bug. Because I don't understand why it's not dropping. Dying memory not dropping from Fates. There you go. There's your fucking bug report. I literally don't understand why it's not dropping. I ain't got a single one. The game doesn't explain it, so I don't know if it is to do with rank or anything. It's all fucking mystery. So yeah, don't like Bozja. So yeah, I completely forgot to talk about this, but the Blue Mage drama. My god. So I didn't see the live letter to be clear, but I do understand people's frustration around Dawntrail essentially being the place for all these Yogg-Saron, whatever, being the place about Blue Mages and not having a single bit of content about Blue Mages. I genuinely understand the frustration at that point, because it's like, yeah, this is stupid, because, well, this has always been teased as a place where Blue Mages go, and for some reason it's not, and that makes sense. It's very strange to me, anyway. I don't really understand it, to be honest. It's just so weird. I feel like there should have been something about Blue Mages, even just as a hint, and we didn't get one at all. It's just so strange to me. So I can't fucking find the fucking thing here. Where the hell is this fucking Aetheryte exchange? There we go. Yeah, but the Blue Mage stuff is very strange to me because it genuinely feels like they were planning things and then just suddenly decided, oh, we're not doing that anymore. We're the developers and we know better, but no. There is no confirmation as to what the fuck on Eorzea this could be. Yeah, very PvP, I don't know. PvP? What? No, roleplay. Fucking too many P's and slang lingo with stuff like this. It's easy to confuse, so I forgot to quit fucking things again. God damn it, it's a confusing thing about some of these games and stuff. It requires so much of you, and which I feel I need to put essence on. Unless I have one, no. Great. Yeah, but basically that's the gist of it, and as far as drama goes, I think it is probably one of the biggest. I've seen memes on the Reddit already, and even the Blue Mage Discord to an extent has a bunch of posts about this in the discourse of it, and I'm not surprised. It just makes sense that this would happen. you've neglected this for so long, and then we get teasers about the Beastmaster, which is as exciting as it can be. It's not optimal because people didn't want this; they want the blue mage. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of interested too, but they even said, I think earlier, apparently, according to the community, that blue mage stuff was planned, and now they've just seemingly put it into Beastmaster, which, whatever that implies, it varies. So it's hard to say where this really comes from. And this is the problem with the developers for this game, in my opinion. You get very varied sort of versions of this, and it can lead to frustration. There's so much variation between the games and game modes and even jobs. You end up getting to that point, and it just gets incredibly frustrating. Like, nobody wants to play a game that's going to treat them like shit and forget that they exist. Like, I'm not a blue mage enjoyer, just to be clear. I hate blue mage. It's one of the worst designed classes or jobs in the game, and that's only because I just don't like the way that you obtain spells. And even the Blue Academy, no, Mask Carnival, not Blue Academy, that's a Discord. That's actually very helpful. But the Mask Carnival is atrocious. It is so difficult for a new player that I'm genuinely surprised I haven't locked it behind the current content, because doing that as a new player was hellish. It was so difficult, and I remember so many times coming out of that thinking, what am I doing with my life? It genuinely made me question my life. It's so fucking bad. It does that. So it's not surprising in the slightest that that happens. But I still find myself disappointed with the element that this is so poorly designed. I really do feel like there is more that could be done. And yeah, it's not. Which is a shame. I think it could have actually helped a lot. But it hasn't. And yeah, they've just fucked it. There's not really any other term for it, I don't think. It truly feels like they don't listen, and even a lot of my suggestions, even though some have gone through, I feel like a lot of them are ignored, and without good reason. Because they know better, apparently. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's the players in the end, not the fucking whatever this is. It's the players that count here. The players have the better opinion, in my opinion, because they played this. They've put so much time into it. Like, I've like played time. It's not going to show it, is it? Because of the fucking window. Oh, it did, bro. 158 days. That roughly is half a year of fucking gameplay. Like, I can't even speak. Half a year of gameplay, and it feels like none of my opinions are listened to, even up until this point. I'm just consistently in shock around it. It does genuinely feel like there is no listening here. And that's what I feel like needs to change. Again, if blue mage players want blue mage stuff, fucking appease the blue mage players. Like, come on. It's not about what I think in the end, even though I have very controversial opinions and really valid ones here and there. It does genuinely feel disappointing when shit like this is genuinely ignored. Because I do feel like there's more that the game could offer, and it's just not doing that. And yet, this is where we are. It's like a constant battle of survival and garbage. It's so fucking disappointing. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the developers have a very good heart in that sense. I just do not understand it. So they don't listen, they don't care. This is what kills a player base. But even though you can offer so many good things, which 7.5 does technically have, I just do not understand the logic that exists here. Like, why the hell is this even a thing to begin with? Not genuinely. It shouldn't even be a drama. It goes without saying, but it really shouldn't. Yeah, it's just confusing. I've abandoned that team, mate, because I have no other fucking choice. This thing's going on. Yeah. Like, what do I add at that point? It's just, that's the drama. The drama is not being listened to. And that's for bad reasons, it seems. It genuinely boggles the mind. The mind just boggles. Because there just isn't a legitimate reason for this shit. It's just, yeah, every day I wake up, there is often a worry about what other big drama will Final Fantasy XIV have today. And this is a problem with live service that you can't even mod. It'd be easier if it's like, for example, I don't know, let's say Deep Rock Galactic. Like, yeah, it's a very fun fucking game, and for a live service it technically is, it's extremely impressive in what it offers and how fun it is. But we have issues where, okay, I wasted my Phoenix down on that team, mate. Not doing anything. I'm also talking about, got distracted by this stupid fucking boss. Why does it default to the middle? What was I saying? Yeah, like Deep Rock Galactic, for example. You know, there's a valid reason that the game is so successful. It's because players love it, and the developers love it, and the developers play it. So they know if they like something or not by playing it. They've done the QA testing for you, and we have done it for them. It works both ways, and here in Final Fantasy XIV, where the developers don't even play the game, it seems, you have that issue now and always, where it just won't ever live up to the standards of players. I look at the Realm Reborn relic weapon system, for example, which is shite. I gave up on it on the third or fourth stage, and you know, even the first few were just cringe. There's no other term for it, it's just cringe. I didn't want to do it, and I'm pretty sure nobody else did either. Of course, it wasn't something that people wanted to do. It was just a big turn off. So that's where that ended up heading. Just, yeah, that's why I'm getting distracted. There's multiple things going on at once. But, you know, back to Deep Rock Galactic as an example. If they didn't listen to players, it wouldn't be as successful. Successful? Yeah, why not? Okay. That's how we roll. Here's bizarre. But I do feel like success depends on the enjoyment of the games. Genuinely it does. Because without that, games wouldn't be as popular as they are. And they should be more fun. Should have better elements to it and be kinder as well. Like in the case of Final Fantasy XIV, being able to offer a Realm Reborn relics for just poetic stuff and even just doing the grind once would be amazing for the game's health and player enjoyment. Like doing Eureka, for example, you are rewarded for putting in the effort, at least most of it anyway. It's mainly just fate farming. But there are elements of it which just suck, and so much of it could be improved rather. Like, I know, for example, the drops of crystals in the 3 stages rather after Animos could be improved drastically. But genuinely, they need to be improved because they're abysmal. They're just insufferable. I do not like grinding that. I did 3 weapons somehow. And yet, it felt like I was doing 10 at times, especially on the last stage. The last stage was the worst one. Because it's so few and far between. Literally. It's so bad. But yeah, if you made a game like that, it's just stupidly grindy. I don't know if players would like it. But then, going back to Deep Rock example, it's a multiplayer game, but it can also be played solo. However, it has modding support. So, this really is a call that, with the mods, by the way, in Deep Rock Galactic, they're fucking amazing. Because you've got quality of life, you've got even ones that change the entire gameplay, you've got some that add new missions and new modifiers. And this is like the lifeblood of it, and the developers actually played that mod, by the way. That's the crazy thing. I remember seeing them play it, I was like, hang on, this isn't right. Why are Ghost Ship Games playing a mod? I looked into it and they're actually legit playing it. In some fucking crazy way they are. It's so strange to me that they are doing that, because it just seems so unusual. It's not the thing that developers usually do, and they often criticise the mods anyway. And it's a multiplayer game as well, so doubly so. But they don't criticise it as badly, I don't think, because players are generally nicer and they care about the game. And they allow for this. That's the other thing. Whereas Final Fantasy XIV, you get banned for installing a fucking mod that helps you with your blindness. Like, that's the difference. And that makes a massive change to everything. It just helps. And even like the brighter objects mod in Deep Rock, which I use specifically, it's a good quality of life because some of the objects in the game are not bright enough. And yes, people might call it cheating, but it helps with players who have blindness. So it's a great addition for a player like that. It does genuinely help. That's the point of it. But if you added modding support to Final Fantasy XIV, I think you would find a lot of new players, a lot of players who can respect it, and not I would, myself. I'd fucking love the game if it had mod support. Because it would just benefit everyone in the long run. It just does a lot more than you might think. And that's the importance of modding. So someone could add blue mage content if this were moddable, but because it's not, well, what do you fucking expect? It's just more absurdity. A lot of shit that just feels like it doesn't need to be the way it is. But anyway, I need to fucking move on because I'm busy. I don't want to be following this shit again for hours and hours. But anyway, yeah, let's move on. So, once again, justice system bullshit. Because it's not obviously done properly. Not surprising at this point, to be honest. I don't think anything has been done properly in years. So, this recent story I heard from Most Critical first, and I'll say first, the only one. I've got some opinions on it based on what I heard. I'm not happy at all with obviously what's happened here. It just seems like there is just a load of bullshit in terms of, well, the story just, it pisses me off because it's so easily addressable and yet nobody has the right opinion. Not even Most Critical. And I'm just sitting here thinking, do you want justice, or are you actually just fucking looking for a reason to beat someone down? Because that often seems to be the thing. Like, you want to beat someone down because they've done what? Like, in this case, at least it wasn't a fucking sexual assault in terms of physically. Yeah, it was more like mental scarring, but even then that's still horrible. And it still needs to be punished. And the way it just feels very bizarre is nobody seems to want the solution. Yeah, which seems to be more to do with how you address the, what is it, I'm not sure how to word it exactly. But I'll go through the things that I mentioned anyway, and the first thing is really to do with the scapegoat, which it is. Most critical call it Hail Mary, but I think it's more scapegoat. The scapegoat in this case is the fact this person was identifying as a woman and as gay. Like two things at once. Right. Well, the problem with that is this does just seem like a scapegoat. So if you were genuinely a woman or gay, then you have a pretty shit idea of what they are, because these don't match. You're recording women, supposedly their genitalia, and even their bodies, apparently it's like a case of being recorded in the shower, and you're suddenly identifying as gay. That's the first inconsistency. You literally do not know what the fuck it is. Second thing is identifying as a woman. In order to identify as a woman, you need to understand why. And there wasn't any explanation from what I could tell. It wasn't like, oh, I feel like I'm in the wrong body, or I feel like over the years I've explored my gender. There's nothing like that. And that's how you can tell there's a giant inconsistency here, which is obviously a scapegoat. And it has to be said, it is literally a scapegoat through and through. There's no other way around it. And this is why it just seems so evil. And also the way that the court handled it was just bad. I think throwing a minority under a bus, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, should be punished in itself. Because I think it's provable here that this person obviously had malicious thoughts and is doing malicious things as a result. Because that's what is going on here, literally. It does feel like that's been completely ignored, and so people are getting thrown under the bus. Because, yeah, like, they just want to get away with their crime. And I think that's incredibly fucked up in itself. So there's even more victims here by virtue of this. And I think it even goes for people who are on the opposite side, who are like anti-LGBTQ+. I think that's still wrong as well. Using them as a scapegoat for this shit. Which again proves that I'm not biased. And people seem to think that I am biased, but no. Like, fuck off with that shit. It's dangerous. And nobody should believe it. In the bias of whatever. Because there's too much danger around. Literally too much shit happens that it's hard to get track of. And that's why we don't do that. So the next thing to address with that is also the judge. The judge didn't convict this person at all. It just seemed like a joke to the judge. Like well, this person's committed a sexual harassment crime. And has traumatised people. Okay, you get to go free, but you're not allowed to do this crime for another 12 months. What the fuck sort of message is that? Like, it's not just about the victims here, it's also about other potential criminals. And it just doesn't send a message at all. It doesn't invoke fear. Because people know if they can get away with it more, and if they can be more careful with getting away with it, for that matter, then they will. You know, they'll find a fucking way. And that's why we have such an issue here. It's absolutely nuts. I don't really have the words to describe this situation, but it's so inherently evil. I just don't get why these justice systems are so fucking broken when it's so blatantly obvious what you need to do. And it's obvious that this judge is corrupt, much like others I've found in my lifetime, believe it or not. I have seen it before, surprisingly. But there is other corruption, and this is also where we have issues. I've seen it in cases like an animal agriculture exposure, where they convict the one who's literally saving animals, and that is an injustice in itself. You may not agree with the fact that someone might be quote-unquote stealing animals, but life isn't property. And that's again the problem with bias. You seem to think that life is somehow belonging to someone. Sentient, conscious life is something to be played with. Like, that's a bias in itself. It's not a bias I have, it's literally demonstrably true. You can't be like biased about this, or even unbiased. It's impossible, because it's a fundamental fact that animals are living, breathing beings with, obviously, feelings. So they do fucking think and feel, like we do. And that cannot be ignored. That's why we look at these things from a scope or a lens, whatever you call it, from another angle. Because you realise these things over time, they matter, and they have an impact. So there's a reason why this needs attention, and why even the system fails. As I said with the animal agriculture thing, where someone was rescuing an animal, the one rescuing the animal who was injured, who was almost dying, gets convicted, and that's been multiple times now. So there's obvious corruption here, and in the case it means that judges themselves need to be fucking held accountable and put on trial themselves to actually have proper justice. Because that's what's happening. Just absolutely nuts. So yeah, what else is there? I think the other thing is about addressing the sort of POV of basically getting justice for the victims. And unfortunately the idea is, to a lot of people, is that causing pain or trauma for some reason to someone is the way to do it. But this isn't how it works at all. And unfortunately with serving justice, it isn't that easy. It requires very specific conditions to be met. And this is a thing I've thought about for years. Even with something like, what is it? I got distracted by a party message in Final Fantasy. It requires very specific things to happen. And to bring justice to a victim, I think you need to ask the victim what should be done. That's the first thing. But I think there are conditions where you can't have this in a way, like, can't have, obviously, your cake and eat it, because you can do unfair things with that sort of system. Like, you could say, oh, I want my, what the fuck do you call it, perpetrator? I can't remember what you call them now, criminal, let's just say criminal. But you want the criminal to be served justice by, I don't know, like, dick torture. And while that might seem entertaining, and also like being able to record it and stuff, at the same time it's just extremely fucked. And does it really match the crime? Is the question. It does lead a lot to be questioned here. And that's where we get the issues, but at the same time we should consider that things are reasonable and maybe even make suggestions. And that's why I feel like there is something to talk about here. Because you need to consider something like how the victim feels in that situation, and maybe enacting that on the perpetrator. Because that's one way you can teach empathy, there's one way you can stop them from doing this. But there is another thing, which I just remembered luckily, and it is a very fucking important thing. Prevention. So I have to talk about something with the specific case here, which is the fact that this guy was from Vietnam, and obviously identifying as these things. But there is likely generational trauma in play here, which you might think, like, how could you say that? Like, what do you mean generational trauma causing someone to do upskirt shots of women? Quite simply, people who pass down from, obviously, people in Vietnam who have been through war and literal terrorism, they're obviously gonna struggle in life, and you know, with how many victims that created, like, you bet your ass there's not going to be many people who are happy with that and will teach people about not treating the other right. Like, there's literally some other agenda here to an extent, and it's like teaching like the evils of things. And then I may not be correct in that, but it's very possible, because there is that sort of thing in even like Asian cultures where there is such a xenophobic response to like Americans or even just like British. Like, it really depends. But there's like xenophobia everywhere, and where it gets complicated is obviously you can't stop the trauma that happens. So in a sense, it does make you question: do we have to get justice for the people in Vietnam, for example? Is that a thing that we need to do? And I guess yes, it probably is, but I don't know for sure. I do find that an interesting part of this discussion, because you do need to address it. It does matter. Yeah, there is a victim at the end of the day, and that's the thing with this. But you can't ignore the fact that, you know, your own people have created victims, and that in itself creates issues. So there is obviously something wrong here, how things are executed and how justice gets served. Because how do you serve justice to an entire fucking nation? Or at least the military part of it, and some who even are dead. Like, you can't. There isn't really a way to do that, I don't think. It's from what I could tell. So it's hard to say. That's why I bring this up. Because there is something there to discuss and mention, because it is important. What's the other thing as well I'm trying to think of? That's not coming to me for some reason. Okay. This game is jank. It's not coming to mind now. So I had it. Yeah, I guess like equal punishment is the thing I was thinking about. Some justice prevention, that's it. I remember now. I think this is just as important as obviously helping the victims, because prevention will be key in stopping this from happening again. And if we don't do that, well, what do you expect is going to happen? You know, people are just going to do the same thing over and over again, and jail time won't do anything in the end, because people are going to use that time to think about how they commit their next crime. So if there's no rehabilitation or forced rehabilitation for that matter, and even like cases of like, oh, let's use for example, a cattle prod to get them in there, because people will be fucking resistant. But you need to create a little bit of injustice or evil rather to allow for some justice to be served. I think that's absolutely necessary in that situation. It's like, you have to force them to do these things, and even if you have to fucking tape them down, like, do it. Glue their eyes open, like cuff them to a fucking chair, they can't cover their ears and that sort of thing. You need to force them into the situation, make them as uncomfortable as possible. It's not specifically to torture them, it's just to prevent any issues from occurring in the future. so this shit won't happen again. Because it's been happening for years, it's been happening for fucking ever. And I'll be honest, I'm fed up of hearing about it. Every time there's some sort of crime that's like sexually related or it's just wrong in some way and it's not served with the due punishment, the equal punishment for that matter, it's really annoying. It pisses me off. It pisses off a lot of other people too. And the solution isn't that obvious, obviously. I think that's something that a lot of people just don't think about for some reason. And it's dangerous not to think about it. It's obviously not easy to address either. So yeah. What is there to even add at this point? I've pretty much covered everything. Also, like cultural norms, that's the other thing I forgot. Again, I said generational trauma, but it's also probably a cultural norm too. It could be. You know, in America, at least for the most part, it's like, and even in the UK actually, people are like openly and proudly saying that they endorse like paedophilia, and it's for some reason accepted, and that is obviously a cultural, maybe even generational thing, as I said, generational trauma. And that does impact things a lot, and that's probably why you have a judge who is also on their side. So it's just more bullshit on top of more bullshit. It doesn't help anyone. It's such an injustice. That's why we have such issues here. Yeah, like what is there to even add on top of that? It really varies on the reason each time, but there we go. So it's always worth considering this fact. I think I've covered pretty much everything with this. It's not the most pleasant topic, obviously. Also, like, you can't let people get away with things because they look young. Like, for fuck's sake. If we let people get away with things because they're young, and even just like children, for example, if this was a child, it's still equally as fucking wrong. But the child should be punished for that as well. It's just entirely fucked up in terms of the situation, and there also needs to be prevention. There needs to be a way to deter people from it, which is the thing we should be searching for here rather than a reason to be angry. And that's why I'm talking about it. That's why I'm talking about this right now. It's because I want to find a deterrent to stop this shit from happening. It's just ridiculous that it is allowed to happen. I just can't believe it a lot of the time. And some of the crimes I've heard about as well. It's like, what the fuck? Just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's all I got. So, I'll move on. So, I turned off his shower recently because it's been pissing me off. It's pissed me off for quite a while, actually. And it's for a few different reasons. Firstly, there are not many things that use it. Secondly, the things that do use it bug the fuck out. I've had problems in Deep Rock, yeah, I've had problems with it in like Deep Rock Galactic, which should have been fine, really. But not really. It made it all fucking weird, made it darker than it actually needed to be, and so it just didn't work. So I didn't bother using it. But then the next issue that happened as a result, which really annoyed me, is how YouTube started acting up with it. And it's like every single thing that had a video just acted up on this shit, with no obvious reason as to why. So I have no idea what happened there, but it feels very strange to me. I have no idea what's causing it, but changing the flags, as I did before, temporarily fixed it. But it's just not the best resolution for that. And it means that I'm not even getting full use of HDR. And I think I even tried going through support once for this sort of thing, but I just gave up in the end. it's not really worth it. The problem is it's whilst it's cool, and it has definitely made it a bit easier to sort of determine like colours range and stuff. It was kind of badly executed. With no obvious way to actually get it working. So it's like a really strange scenario. But there wasn't really much that could be done. And so I've got to the point where I am now, where I've used it for long enough that I'm just like, you know what, I don't need it now. It's actually pretty pointless. So there's like 0 point in having it. So yeah, that happens. But it's off now, and I'm not going to turn it on ever again. So fuck HDR, it seems. It's only really good for TVs, I reckon, but still kind of hard to justify because of the issues that come with it. So I don't even really know what to do now with it, because it's such a big problem that it just turns me off it completely. Why even bother with it in the end? It just doesn't make sense, and I don't know why it had so many bugs. And the thing is, it had so much potential as well, being that it expanded colour ranges, hence high dynamic range. But obviously it cocked it up with how it's executed here, and how buggy it is, and how unsupported it is across the board. So even things that usually don't have HDR could have an extended colour range. And I don't know if I have noticed it in like games like Final Fantasy, for example. I'm not too sure on that. It's hard to say. It could have had so much potential, and it's just squandered by the fact it's so poorly executed. And you want it to do well because, well, it's a unique thing. And for someone who does art like myself, which admittedly isn't like the highest sort of artwork sort of criteria, it's pretty useful in that sense. I could learn things from it. So yeah, it just ends up being crappy. So that's why I've pretty much given up on it. There's no point. And then I've got this new issue as a result, which I'll pretty sure talked about briefly. I seem to have an issue where all my colour settings and brightness and contrast, everything pretty much, is just weirded out. I'll check my monitor quick, but I'm not so hopeful about it. What is this? Game equalizer? How many fucking settings are there? It's been a long time since I've looked at this. It's just standard gaming, nothing no. What is it? Hang on. No, that's not really anything. Display RPG range, nope, nope. Can't really see anything. How do I go up? Oh, it shows you the settings on here, okay. Okay, my settings are a bit interesting. Didn't realise that. So I hate this fucking lobby thing, it's a bit dumb. Maybe I'll probably fix it, I'll put it back to like 50 and 50. It's weird in not having, what's it called? I don't know what to call it. Also, it has built-in digital vibrance, which is really cool actually. Didn't know that, it's kind of handy. There's like weird stuff with this. The gamma is kind of high. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of settings I didn't realise here. I can turn gamma off. Don't know about that. Keep it to colour temperature normal. Cool. Usually have it on warm because it's like a yellowy thing, yellowy texture. It's also user defined, which is more blue. I prefer normal, I think. Yeah, go normal. Low blue light. What the hell? Just setting for that? Okay, that's nuts. Doesn't do much there. DCR, I don't know what that does. Reset picture, no. Okay, they got different modes. Oh, did I just reset? No. Okay, there's normal mode. Yeah, as I said, there's like weirdness with all of this, and I need to open up a video control panel again. That's why I've been trying to adjust it stupidly before realising, oh, monitor has options, but use monitor. But even then, it's still very dark, and the best way to test this is looking at applications that I usually had. And now the problem is, like I could see like on video control panel, it just appears as a backdrop to the settings bit there. But because of that, I can actually sort of go into settings again and go back to change the picture. So, see, I probably need a bit more brightness because there's not really much going on there. Like, how high does it go? 100? How bright is 100? Fucking hell. Do I need it that bright? I think I might. A bit low. It's kind of hard. I don't even know how you measure these things to begin with. 75 that'll do. Contrast. That's too high because you lose the backdrop on that thing, so that's a good measure, as I said. And colour vibrance can go same. Maybe a bit down, there we go. Yeah. It's interesting how monitor settings can make a difference. Yeah, this is pretty much how I used to have it, I think. It was on the warm setting. It still feels like it's not bright enough, but I don't know yet. Hard to say. Yeah, it's been fucking frustrating, for sure. Anyway, let's move on. Got things to put up and stuff.